Very good. All right, councillors, welcome to our council meeting for the 24th of June, 2025. We will start with a KARAKIA.
Good councillors, whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia makinakina ki uta, ki mataratara ki tai, ihi aka ana te atakura, he tio, he huka, he ho hu, ti hei mauri ora.
Thank you very much for that. All right, councillors. Health and safety statement. There's no externals in the room, so we'll take that as read. Apologies. We've got apologies from Councillor Hodge, and then also early departure at about 1:15 from me. So hopefully we can get through this before then. Do I have a mover for the Councillor Strange, second and Councillor Downard? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. All right, confirmation of the agenda. Now, councillors, I just want to note that we had some late legal advice come through quite late yesterday in relation to item 7.2, the joint management agreement and co-managed land agreement reviews. And so I don't feel we've had adequate time to consider that information that's come through. So we will defer that item to a future meeting so that we can make sure we've got our heads around that. Other than that, do I have a mover for the agenda? Councillor Clarkson, second and Councillor Strange. Sorry.
Did we make a decision on the foreshadowed motion? Is that mentioned at all?
That will be when we come to the minutes.
Okay,
this is the confirmation of the agenda. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Disclosures of interest. Any new disclosures of interest? If not, no disclosures in relation to any matters before the meeting today. All right, we'll now move on to the minutes. Now, our first one is just in relation to the council minutes for the 19th and 20th of May, 25, as well as the open and public excluded minutes for the 29th of May, 2025. Do I have a mover to receive those? Sorry?
Just give them item number 6.1, 6.4, whatever, because of it. Just trying to tick these off.
Sure. It would be item, sorry, noted there, item 6.2, and then item 6 and 8.3. All right. Sorry, did I have a mover and a seconder for that? I had Councillor Clarkson and Councillor Strange. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. All right, now we've got all of our minutes. Now, just to note, we've got minutes from the Raukawa Charitable Trust and Waikato Regional Council Co-Governance Committee, the Waikato Ropatu River Trust and Waikato Regional Council Co-Governance Committee, and the Te Arawa River Iwi Trust and Waikato Regional Council Co-Governance Committee. All three of those have matters that will need to come back to a subsequent meeting with adequate narrative and reports around them so that council can discuss the recommendations that are coming through those. So we won't be receiving those minutes today. We will be, they'll be tabled at a subsequent meeting. All right? Happy with that approach?
We have some explanation as to why, because you guys, yeah, because I'm
Sure.
feeling a bit lost as someone that was at some of those.
Sure. So there, if you look at the minutes, there's a couple of items, particularly in the Relkawa one and the Te Arawa one, which are
Meter one, so we can have a live example to understand.
perhaps Molly might want to speak to this. So this
The
is on
reality,
page
Madam Chair,
45.
Reality, Madam Chair, is if you make a ruling as chair, that's it.
I'm just giving a little bit of
With all due
narrative.
respect, Noel, I just
And,
asked
and
to
just
understand
we've had
why we're doing it.
a
It's
question,
perfectly
so I'm
legit
just
question.
taking care of that. Thank you, councillors. Molly.
Morena koutou. There are a number of recommendations in co-governance committee minutes that request council advocacy for things like te ture whai mana within statutory processes, submissions, those sorts of things. Quite rightly, that is a decision of council. And as the minutes are currently worded, it suggests that those decisions can be made under delegated authority by the co-governance committees. So we need to do a bit of tidy up to make sure that those recommendations come through to council for final decision making. So we'll undertake that at a future meeting.
So just for clarification, I'm just looking at that one because I heard it talked about the one about advocates for continued statutory recognition of Te Ture Whai Mana. Are we saying that even if council agreed with that, because of the way that term delegated authority is used in the minutes, we still need to go back and revisit it? Is it
Well, the decision must be made by council. Currently, as the minutes are worded, it suggests that the decision has already been made by the co-governance committees.
Question is, even if, because of the way these agendas have been stitched together, we need, we need to go back and
it's more
revisit it.
the semantics of the minutes, a section B item versus a section A item. It seems unclear to me, and therefore I want to bring it back to a subsequent meeting so everybody is clear where the decision lies and that we've got whatever supporting documentation and debate to allow this council to make that decision.
Yes, it's an opportunity to tidy up the process and make sure that everybody is clear before going into this decision making. Yes, we could potentially try and muddle through that today, but it's probably not best to take that approach.
No, cool. I just want to understand you. Thanks.
Thank you. Cool. Right. All right. I really don't want to keep talking about this because
Pamela?
yes.
I've had my hand up longer than
Sorry.
they've spoken, so could I
Goodbye.
speak in? It's not about the matter, but this is the third meeting where advice pertaining to partnership has or our position in terms of Wailra has caused a delay in making decisions in and around co-governance. It's making iwi partners nervous. So I suggest before anything comes back to council, could we make sure that it's ready to go to council?
Absolutely. Yeah? That's the
so
intent.
I'm asking for more diligence because this is the third meeting in a row. And my iwi partners are seriously questioning whether we want to be in partnership. So kia ora.
Thank you. And that's the intent of me making this decision in regard to these particular minutes coming back to a subsequent meeting. So,
Madam Chair, can I ask a question, please?
very quickly.
Yes. I would like to understand how we're going to deal with it going forward, because I would like to be at the table when we sit down and finalise what we're going to do. I don't want to brought back and have another argument about whether it's what we want or not.
Understand that, and that is the intent of this. And that is the intent of this process, is to ensure that this council has adequate advice and adequate time to consider the decisions that are before it. That is the intent. That's what we'll do. All right, so we've got confirmation of the
I just wanted to raise the issue that I did put forward as a foreshadowed motion, is particularly because
We're going to cover this, Ben. We don't need to discuss this anymore today. We are going to cover this when these minutes come back to a subsequent council meeting. So what we are doing now is considering the confirmation of the minutes from the Climate Action Committee, the Environmental Performance Committee, and the CERC Committee, as well as receiving the minutes from the Future Proof Public Transport Subcommittee, the HAURAKI Gulf Forum, and the Future Proof Implementation Committee. Do I have a mover to receive and confirm those minutes? Councillor Nicol, second, and Councillor Strange. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. That one. I think this is the one. Okay. So now we will move to 7.3. This is on page 306 of your,
sorry, we just
agenda?
confirm the minutes for the HAURAKI Gulf Forum
yes,
when we passed that?
yes.
I don't recall if people have read the minutes and everyone agreed with them. Is that correct?
It was moved and seconded and passed.
Okay. And I didn't attend that forum, but I'm just checking that Warren is happy with those. Yep.
All right, moving forward. Item 7.3. This is on page 306. This is the adoption of the 2025-26 annual plan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, councillors. It is my great pleasure to present this report for you this morning. It reflects the culmination of work by staff and councillors over the last 9 months, both reviewing the budget that we'd proposed through the 2024 LTP as well as reflecting some key changes which form the basis of community consultations. In terms of the process, you've already made your decisions in terms of the setting of the budget. So the process today is really around the adoption of the annual plan in its entirety and all of the content that is included in that. And then that is to be followed by the setting of rates that give effect to this plan. Additionally, based on the decision of council through your deliberations to determine the basis for the setting of rating for public transport services in Hamilton City to continue on a capital value basis, staff have provided a revised rates remission policy that's included there for your approval. Thank you to the eagle eyes of Councillor Smith. There is one error that has been noted in the document on page 408, whereby the rate factors for public transport in central Waikato for serviced and unserviced differentials have been reversed.
Thank you for the eagle eyes, Councillor Smith.
That has been noted and will be corrected in the final version of the document. Just for information, it is correct in the rate setting report, but was transposed in the main document.
All right. I do have a mover and Councillor Mahuta on this, and a second and Councillor Nebo and Councillor Hughes.
I'd like to,
Yeah, Councillor Mahuta is online.
I'd like to move an amendment to the wording of this, if I may. The annual plan document makes comments on debate about using the 2.545 million of prior year surplus to reduce rates. The document also states that although evenly split on the issue, it was decided by casting vote that the surplus would not be relinquished. Wording then goes on to state it was decided that the alternative would create a gap in the council's finances for future years. And
Sorry, what page are you on, Councillor Hughes?
page
329 and page 16 of the annual plan document. Page 329 of the agenda.
And that's the last paragraph, is it?
Yes.
Thank you.
Given the tied nature of the vote, a number of councillors who voted to reduce rates by 1.7% want the following words inserted into the annual plan document. The contrary argument asserts that bigger rates increases would not be required in future, provided they restrict control over budgets and that there is already more than $6 million set aside in disaster recovery funds.
I'd like to second that.
Sorry, I don't have a copy of these words in front of me, so I can't consider them.
Just an additional explanation.
So if I can comment as seconder, I'd like to say that it clearly states that there was an even split on the issue, but only one side of the argument is given as to why the vote went a particular way. And the other side of the argument is that if you reduced costs, you wouldn't have bigger rates increases, and that there's already $6 million sitting aside in disaster recovery funds, plus insurances. So it negates some of the arguments that are put forward by one side of the argument.
Just through you, Madam Chair, while that's the wording's been written up for discussion, I think, Janine, that this was to indicate what the decision was, as opposed to what the fulsome of the debate was.
Correct.
Because that would be consistent with the other decisions made.
That's right. So as would be typical in here, we report back on the decisions that have been made by council. So that's the content that's been provided.
Well, if that's the case, there shouldn't be an argument setting one side of the argument down as to why the rates were.
There's only one side of the discussion which has been recorded in the annual plan. Surely both sides should be included in its split vote like that.
Dave, it's only the very last paragraph that you need to type up.
Right, I'm going to adjourn the meeting just for 5 minutes, just so we can all get our heads around what was proposed. But before I do that, again, councillors, bringing these things at the last minute so that other people don't have the opportunity to understand the wording that's being proposed really does not help the decision-making process. So I'm going to adjourn this meeting for 5 minutes. It is 10:06. We'll adjourn the meeting for 5 minutes to just get the words distributed so they can be considered adequately.
Can I ask a question, please? Can I, when you come back, can I have an understanding of what is